This is Iceland. 320,000 people, 3 small banks. In 2008, Britain used anti-terrorism law to freeze their assets and listed them next to Al-Qaeda. Here's how a tiny island nearly took down the British economy with it. By 2008, Iceland's 3 biggest banks had grown to 10 times the size of the entire country's economy. Kaupthing, Landsbanki, and Glitnir weren't just Icelandic banks anymore. They were global players, borrowing aggressively across Europe. Landsbanki launched something called IceSave, high-interest savings accounts, marketed directly to British and Dutch depositors online. Money poured in. By 2007, Landsbanki's London branch alone held over £5.5 billion. Iceland's entire central bank reserve was just $1.2 billion. Then, in September 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed in the US. Global credit froze overnight, and Iceland's banks couldn't refinance their debt. Within days, all 3 banks began to fail. Glitnir first, then Landsbanki, then Kaupthing, the country's biggest bank. Iceland's government stepped in, but only to protect domestic deposits. Foreign depositors, hundreds of thousands of British and Dutch savers, were left with nothing. Britain's chancellor called Iceland's finance minister directly, demanding repayment. Iceland couldn't guarantee it. So on October 8, 2008, the UK Treasury did something no one expected. It invoked the Anti-Terrorism, Crime and Security Act of 2001 against Iceland. For a period, Landsbanki appeared on the same UK Treasury sanctions list as Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. The order froze billions in Iceland assets in Britain instantly, and it sealed Kaupthing's collapse too within 24 hours. A NATO ally, a country with no military, treated legally like a terrorist threat to the UK economy. Iceland called it an act of war in financial form. A diplomatic crisis erupted that took years and an international court to resolve. In 2013, the EFTA court finally ruled in Iceland's favour. It owed nothing under EU law. Britain and the Netherlands had to absorb the cost themselves. A country of 320,000 people had gone head-to-head with the UK Treasury and won.